Hey everyone, I'm Dagmarok. I'm huge into base building and crafting games, and here lately I've been absolutely obsessed with the latest update to No Man's Sky, and probably spending way too much of my free time building Corvettes. A few of you have probably seen my ship posts floating around community groups, and I've had multiple people ask me to put together a tutorial on my Galleon-style Corvette build. Honestly, I've never done a video like this before, so bear with me. So before we get into the step-by-step, let me show you my current ship, the Stellar Plunderer, so you can see how and why I arranged the build the way I did. As you can see, I was going for that old world galleon vibe, but twisted into a Corvette-style starship. It's got the big sweeping hull, the tall stern castle, and a lot of layered detail work to make it feel like it could actually sail the high seas just as well as it warps through the void. I'll spin around here so you can see all the sides, and I'll walk you through some of the highlights. The front prow has that angled push that gives it the sense of movement. The midsection is where the structure widens into the deck, and you start to really see that aesthetic of the pirate ships with those porthole style windows. And then the rear stacks up into that tall tower, very much inspired by classic sailing ships, but still within the sci-fi aesthetic of No Man's Sky with these main engines on the side of the ship. Now let's take a quick look inside so you can understand how the interior comes together. On the bottom level, which works as the ship's cargo hull and loading bay, I've got a couple of tandem habs joined together and filled with cargo modules of two different types so that you can see both what looks like boxes and what looks like a fuel system. On the second level, which acts as the ship's main hold or crew hold, I built out 3 rows of tandem habs. I used different styles here depending on the corridor and window aesthetic I wanted, and filled them with crew necessities like sleeping pods, a nutrition module, food storage and growers, and even a medical bay. On the sides, I used the Thunderbird class walkways and habs to make sure I got that porthole style window, and in the center I used the Titan class habs and walkways to get that more industrial look for all of the technology modules. On the third level, which is the main deck, you'll find more social and high-end spaces. Of course, no ship would be complete without a plank, which makes for a great jumping off point for spacewalks, and a lounge for stargazing, a bar, some posh captain's quarters with the ambassador modules, everything that a captain would need, and a forecabin where I've set up the brig and will be putting the armory. Around to the forecastle stairs, you see the actual weapons and the figurehead for the ship, pointing the way forward for all of the sailors on board. From the main deck, you can go towards the rear castle and take the stairs up to the cockpit deck, where you also have your crew mission module and some, of course, seating for the crew. You can then go further up to the helm deck where the ship is actually piloted, or people can actually just stand there to get a cool screenshot depending on where we wind up post-warp. This all layers together in a way that feels both functional and immersive for a pirate vessel. If you're going to build a ship like this without exploits, I can't recommend enough farming as many salvage parts as you can, because as you customize, you're probably going to be trading for advanced parts a lot. Also, definitely get the Aquajet landing module from the Starship Researcher on board the Anomaly if you haven't already. It's totally worth it to be able to land and summon your ship on the water, just as you should be able to with any pirate ship, right? And before you get started on a build like this, I highly recommend looking up old pirate ship layouts for inspiration. It helps a lot when you're trying to picture how the different decks should feel and flow together. Here's one I found that helped me with my first build, but there's tons of diagrams out there for all kinds of sailing ships. So look around, find the one that best speaks to you, and use it to guide your design, or just wing it and call it experimental architecture, I guess, if that works for you. All right, now on to the actual build tutorial. For this video, instead of live building, I thought it'd be easier, especially since I'm new to this whole recording thing, to do a reverse deconstruction. Basically, I built a sample structure, broke it down layer by layer, and then reversed the footage so it looks like it's being built up piece by piece and it's more logical to follow for you guys. That way you can see the raw bones of the design and how it comes together and kind of build your way around it as you see fit. The base of the ship starts with a long rectangular frame. Think of it as the keel of the galleon. From there, I stacked the mid-deck, extending the prow out, and then layered the stern castle on top. The key is working in tiers, building up in stages so it looks natural rather than a flat blocky shape. I'll share a list of the major parts I used in this build down in the description, so you'll be able to recreate it or tweak it for your own pirate fleet. The nice thing about this style is it's really customizable. You can shorten the hull, extend the wings, or even add more deck layers if you want a beefier Corvette. So basically no two ships have to look the same. Now if you spend any amount of time playing around in the Corvette builder on a space station, you're probably going to recognize a lot of the hull parts and pieces that I'm putting on board the ship to make up the external hull of the bottom of the ship and give it that curved appearance. You can use any combination of these pieces to come up with the unique hull curvature that you're really looking for the underside of the forecastle or the keel or even the main castle in the back. I briefly mentioned before that the hab and walkway types that you choose, especially on your external facing habs and walkways, are important because the habs you choose will impact the style of the windows that you get. So if you're looking for those porthole circular windows, you want to make sure, for instance, that you choose the Thunderbird class. And if you're looking for the oval windows, you want to make sure you're choosing the Titan class. But if you want these big awning style glass windows that really resemble the stern castle of the ship and captain's quarters style areas, then you want to make sure that you choose either the Titan or Thunderbird class, because the side windows on the Ambassador class are going to come out as little triangles and not this big awning style window that you actually want. As you place pieces, before you start adding in the accessories like the cargo units or the weapon systems or even some of these larger engines, make sure that you set the color scheme that you want for these parts. If you do it early on, then all the parts that you load in are going to have that color scheme as default, which is going to help you a lot as you near the finish of your actual structural build, and you don't have to go back and click on each module and color it manually. But keep in mind that currently when you actually go in and start decorating your ship and placing your technology modules inside, if you place the technology module on an external wall, sometimes that external wall loses the color, so you want to be strategic about where you put those technology modules and what's on the other side of that wall, because sometimes you can't recolor it. Now, let's talk about sails. If you've tried building a mast and sails in No Man's Sky, you know this part can be, let's just say, character building. It's hands down, in my opinion, one of the trickiest and most frustrating steps of a build like this, especially if you don't use mods or, like me, don't build with glitches. So here's how I handled mine. First, you need to figure out your mast. In the structure build, I used 2 cargo pods to place hold for the center and rear masts, but in my current flying build, I don't use them at all. It's all up to your preference and the height you want to achieve with as few complexities as you can handle in your structure build phase, and frustrations you can handle in your decorating build phase. For the masts themselves, I used a couple of different lamp configurations. I know it sounds weird to use the lamps, but trust me, lamps make way better masts than antennae do. You need the thickness of the poles to give you the most flexibility when placing your sails. For the center mast, you'll want to double stack them to hit the right height for your ship's aesthetic. It takes some fiddling, but once you've got that locked in, the hard part's mostly done. Next are the sails themselves. You'll need to unlock the sail item from the construction researcher on the anomaly. Once you have it, place the sail so that your targeting dot is lined up on the lamp behind it. That's your anchor point. Then using your controller, cycle through the right stick click options and use the left and right bumpers to adjust the position until you're happy. After that, fine-tune the size with the left and right D-pad buttons. It's definitely a trial and error process, but you'll get it after the first 1 or 2 sails. You'll probably spend some time muttering to yourself and wondering why you didn't just build a cube instead, but once you get one sail sorted, it's just a matter of repeating the process for each mast, and I promise you it gets less headachy the more you do it. Before you know it, you'll have a full set of sails and your galleon will actually look like it's ready to plunder the stars. And that's the basics of how I put together a Galleon-style Corvette in No Man's Sky. Like I said, this is my first video, so thanks for sticking with me. I hope it wasn't too painful, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Would you like to see me do a fully decorated version of this build with all the details, lights, and interior, or a breakdown video of my rubber ducky Corvette? Either way, I'm planning to share more, so if you're into creative builds and want to see more pirates roaming the galaxy, let me know. I'm Dagmarok, and I'll see you among the stars.